Let's cover Javelina. They're the hardest one. Let's just get that one out of the way. I don't know what to do. They're just the only real way to keep pigs out of the way. And some of you, you're on the main wildlife run. I mean, they've been using your yard for 100 years as a cutoff. They're like the school kids going to school. They could use your property cut to get over to there. So the only way to get around that is a physical barrier. I can get you some plants that will kind of work, and generally they won't dig it up. But what they do is, right now, Javelina are digging up lawns. They're just uplifting that's been green all winter. They're coming in and lifting the whole lawn network, which is discouraging. The reason they're doing that is going after grubs. There's white worms. There's a grub harvest coming up right now. So grubs are really bad. That's their favorite protein source, grubs. And so they'll dig that up. And they're not after the grass by any means. They're not after a certain plant. They're just after digging that up, pushing it to the side. Sometimes it looks like they're just having fun. They throw it in the air. Hey, Joe, try this one. They throw it up, and you see plants everywhere, not eaten, just moved aside so they can get down to what they're really after, which is the insects in the ground. The only way to get around that is kill off grubs. Okay, that gets rid of the food source. That actually works pretty good. So I brought grub beater. It's a granular. Where my Javelina are, and I've got a lot of them. I just put this down once a year, no matter what. I don't know if I have grubs or not. I just don't want grubs. I don't want Javelina coming in, so I'll just spread this out. When I'm fertilizing, I'll just put this out so I don't have grubs that year, so they aren't naturally coming at you. The same thing for skunks. Skunks are coming into the yard right now. We're having multiple customers coming in, and you'll see a little tiny cone-shaped hole in the ground. You'll see multiple cone-shaped holes, just kind of perfect little cones. And so they come in at night, they can smell the grub, they just dig, little tiny hands, dig it, and they get there and they eat the grub and they just move on. So the way to get rid of skunks, kill the grubs, and you won't have that predator coming in for the grubs. That's one thing to watch. There are some plants you can use. We'll go over the plants at the end that we can show you. They generally will stay away from. The easiest way there, just walk the neighborhood. You'll see what plants, because that herd doesn't just come and bother you. They're in everyone's yard. That same herd's in everyone's yard. You can walk down the street and just see what others are having success with or failures with. So that's one thing to watch. We are having some good luck with, where's the product? Did I bring it? The granular-based bonite. So I have this stuff. Did I bring that? They make this in a granular, so it's an organic repellent. And so what they do is they walk on this stuff when they're in looking at your yard. It makes it smell bad, so they can't smell as well. They get on their fur and it just makes them, their wife won't let them home at night because they just smell bad. So they just kind of get on their fur and they can't get it off. And so we've had some good luck with that. You just have to reapply. So otherwise, probably at least twice a year with that granular base to keep the Javelina out.
Does that work with rats too?
With what?
With rats?
I haven't found it works with rats. No, it doesn't work with rats. Ground squirrels, there's some use with ground squirrels. Rats, not so much. At least with my rats. Highly effective with rabbits. Very highly effective with rabbits. Okay, we'll cover that in just a sec. Okay. Javelina, what I've really come down to for myself, I went down to the hardware store. They pre-cut rebar in the 24-inch lengths. It's pre-cut, so I just grabbed a handful and I hammer them out throughout the yard, through the gardens. And then I went down to Olson's Grain, and I bought their least expensive electric wire network. They make them for cattle where it runs for 10 miles. You don't need that one. You don't need the fancy solar thing. What I did is I plugged it in, I put it on a timer so that it comes on only at night when they're out there in my gardens. If my wife gets zipped, or even worse, if her dogs get zipped by electric wire, I'm going to hear about that. So the timer seems to get me out of that trouble where it's only 10 o'clock till 4 or 6 or whatever she wakes up with the dogs. That's been highly, highly effective. I did not encircle my gardens. I just ran a wire through it. And then I did take a piece of aluminum foil and I hung it over top of the wire, and I put a piece of peanut butter underneath. They were attracted to it. So I want them to learn, I want them to get nipped on the nose, and all you gotta do is get the leader. You get the leader going, the whole herd goes nuts. So I put that over the wire where they were cutting through the yards, and the next morning there was nothing but mayhem. Wire was every place. It was off the insulators. It was crazy. I mean, they hit that thing and the whole herd must have gone, whoa! And I haven't seen them back since. Not only that, but it created a halo effect where my neighbors didn't see them either. So they were terrified. They didn't use that as the cutoff point between the yards. It was kind of a little natural trough. She'd get along. I mean, we had stuff. And so they were attracted to that stuff. That was highly, highly effective. It cost me maybe $100 to get the fence, the electric, to plug it in, to make it all go. And that's really the only way you do it. Now, in my neighborhood, I'm not allowed to have fence in the front yard, only in the backyard. You can only have certain kinds of fencing in the backyard. So here's what I did. I had the rebar hammered out beforehand. And then at night, my daughter and I went out and we hung the wire so no one saw us putting the fence up. And I took green paint and I sprayed it green so it looked like garden. So you didn't see yellow insulators. It was green and no one ever knew. I had an electric fence 1 foot off the ground, which is all you have to do. I have some customers that are good gardeners. They take a wire and they put it at javelina height, they put it at rabbit height, and they put it at pack rat, the ground squirrel height. They've had very good success with that. The electric fence is quite good at keeping the critters out. It doesn't harm them, it doesn't kill them, it just spooks them. It's only 12 volts, so it just kind of goes, whoa, hey, wait a minute, not here, buddy, not here. And again, I didn't circle the yard. I just went through the gardens and got them to hit it. That put the terror in them and they seem to stop. Every once in a while I get a lone boar that'll come through and kind of go down the driveway and tear things up. That's once every couple of years. Mostly it's the pack. It's the women and all the babies coming through, the whole pack of them coming through. Those are the ones that are terribly destructive. So those are the ones you gotta keep in check. Javelina.
So I used, in my neighborhood, we don't have a CCR like that, so I know it.
Good.
But we used the bright yellow wire, and I don't even have to leave it on.
Yes.
Except for about every 3 years. As long as I've got a little section of that yellow wire they can see on my property, run on my property in a circle, and know where they run through.
Yeah.
And if they just see that yellow wire, they stay away.
It's very easy to train them. So just so you didn't hear it over here, she's got an electric fence that she only turns on once every 3 years because she's trained them. This yellow wire, they make it a yellow. I just use regular old wire. If they see the insulators, they know there's certain insulators. They go, whoa, be careful. She's trained them to look for that and to stay away. And really, if you just get them to hit it once, they will learn very, very quickly. Oh my gosh, that was awful last time I was over here. Let's go eat theirs. The goal is to get them to eat at your neighbor's house, not at your house. That's the goal. And you just train them. It's like a puppy dog. Only they're hairy, they're sneaky, and they got big tusks. It's the same thing. Very good, thank you. Okay, we all set with Javelina?